Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a good Wednesday, a good week. Hope things are going well with your project too, and that you are almost done with it. Remember, you have an extension until Friday this week. We normally have things due on Thursday, but since tomorrow is the 4th, I wanted to give you until Friday to turn that in because I know that some of you might have different plans going on tomorrow. So know that the submission is up for you on Blackboard though, so you can post your project 2 anytime between now and Friday. It's a hot week here, huh? I do not know where you all are. I know that you are all in different places right now, but it is very hot in Greenville. I am still here at home. I am not traveling anywhere for the 4th. I have some friends in town who are going to grill out and who have a pool, so I plan on spending the day over there tomorrow. So I hope that whatever your plans are, you enjoy the day. I haven't done much traveling yet this summer. I'm not really going anywhere too exotic or anything. I am next week going out of town for a week to Indiana. I'll leave next Wednesday. My husband's from Indiana and all of his family is there. My family is near Charlotte, from a rural town about 20 miles east of Charlotte. But Matt, my husband, and my mom and stepdad are all traveling up to Indiana next week, so I will be checking in from Indiana next week. And then I will spend some time with my folks near Charlotte for a while, and then I'll go to the beach at the end of the summer. So I hope if you are traveling any, that you are having fun, and that your travels are safe. And it looks as if this video, I hope it's going to work. It's doing that weird thing where your mouth doesn't really match the speed in which you are talking on. I decided to come outside today for the video, so I hope that it will allow me to do that. Okay, looks like maybe things are going a little bit better now. Maybe. I wanted to talk a little bit, though, about your annotated bibliographies. So, for your Project 3, you are doing an annotated bibliography, which I briefly introduced to you last week. You have your assignment sheet. Hopefully you've read it. About the project, let's first talk about that. So what you're doing, before we talk about the annotated bibliography, what you're doing in this project is you are selecting an issue in your field. So this could be an issue in terms of an actual problem in your field that needs to be addressed. It could be a current trend of something that is happening in your field. It could be about a debated issue in terms of maybe a new way of doing something in your field that maybe folks in your field are having a debate over. Any type of issue, event, or problem in your field, that's something that you could address. So it should be something that is of interest to you, okay? For example, if I were doing one, if I was exploring an issue in my field in rhetoric and writing studies, one issue that I might explore is the use of rubrics. Okay, that's one thing that's kind of big right now in education, especially in the teaching of writing, is the use of rubrics when teaching writing. And there's a lot of research out there, so I'm not going to bore you with that, nor am I going to get into a lot of details on what that means, but that is an issue in my field, is how valuable are rubrics when we teach writing, okay? So that would be an issue that I can maybe explore, and then I would go and find research on that. This is a time when you can use those sources from your project, one, to your advantage. You might go back to those journals and look in those places to start gathering information, as well as your popular source. Where you obtain the information for this annotated bibliography can come from anywhere. I would imagine that it's probably a mix of research in terms of scholarly sources from those journals, but then also maybe some popular sources too, whether it's blogs or websites or even YouTube videos or podcasts. I don't want to see all that. I don't want to see all popular sources. I do want to see some scholarly sources in there. But it's fine to have a mixture as well, okay? So for an annotated bibliography, so that is the base. That's the basis of the project. Okay, so you're selecting one issue in your field that you want to examine, that you want to research. So what you're doing in this annotated bibliography is you are researching that issue, and then you're presenting that issue. You want to choose an issue that interests you, because you're also going to be working with this same issue for Project 4. So in Project 4, what you'll be doing is you'll be turning your issue into a persuasive piece, and we'll talk about what writing to persuade includes and the different avenues and angles that one can take when they are writing to persuade their audience about an issue. Your main purpose for Project 3 is to research that issue and then to create an annotated bibliography that summarizes the information that you've researched and evaluates it for how you might use it for the future research project that is the Writing to Persuade project of Project 4. So in an annotated bibliography, I'm going to post some links in the Week 3 folder that's going to take you to the Purdue OWL site, which I linked some to the Purdue OWL last week in terms of the APA and MLA and Chicago citation style books. Purdue has a lot of resources on its online writing lab site, and I often find myself using those as a lot of reference for different things, and I find that the way they describe their annotated bibliographies to be very helpful. So I'm going to include some links there that might help you in terms of helping you further understand the purpose of annotated bibliographies, as well as the structure, how to set up the annotated bibliography. What you're doing in an annotated bibliography, first off, the key thing to remember who your audience is. You are your audience for an annotated bibliography, okay? You are using the annotated bibliography as a space to synthesize and summarize the information that you have done about a topic, okay? So that then you can use that annotated bib for future research purposes. So remember that you are addressing yourself in this annotated bibliography. You're writing to help yourself understand the information better later, to help yourself understand what I'm doing with this source. What again did this source say? How do I want to use this source to then help me later on for the research project that I intend to do, which is Project 4 Writing to Persuade. So in this, you're going to find your 8 to 10 sources. Okay, so a minimum of 8 sources, no more than 10 sources. And in your annotated bibliography, just like it shows in the examples on the Purdue OWL, you're going to have a document of 8 to 10 sources in alphabetical order. And for an annotated bibliography, it follows the exact same format. You have your citation of the source, and then I want to see that 2-paragraph, okay, with that summary in there. And I think I say on your assignment sheet 150 to 200 words or 150 to 175 words. That's the amount of information that I want to see synthesized there, okay? I want to see first that you have a summary of the source in which you have shown me how you've read the source overall, okay? I'm not expecting you to read each source in depth, but I am expecting you to have read each source to know what the source is saying enough, okay? So I want to see you summarize the source, and then I want to see you evaluate the source. So in that evaluation piece, that's where I want to see you evaluating in terms of evaluating how you might use that for your research project. Evaluating why that issue matters, why it's relevant, and how that specific source speaks to the issue that you are addressing. You're choosing an issue in your field, and you want to use that evaluation piece of that annotation to talk about how that source addresses the issue and how you might use it in a Project 4 when you're writing to persuade your audience about this issue itself. So the annotation has 2 parts, summary and evaluation. So I should see that with each of those annotations. You'll see on the Purdue OWL that they have some examples of annotated bibliographies where they have the citation and then they have the summary and evaluation. Theirs are quite brief, okay? So remember, I want to see yours around that 150 to 175 mark for each of your annotations. And there should be 8 to 10 of those, okay? I got to see 8, but I don't want to see more than 10, okay? You don't need to get more than 10. You'll have plenty if you have that, okay? 8 will suffice too. Find good sources, though, that speak to the issue that you're exploring. That's your main goal, okay? I think those are the main goals that I wanted to address for the annotated bibliography. You have the assignment sheet. Make sure that you're following the assignment sheet, and make sure that you're also using those resources on the Purdue OWL. Okay. I'll also post the Project 4 assignment sheet within the next couple of days, so you can begin to see how Project 3 will lead you into Project 4, and then you might start getting some ideas for what you want to do with Project 4. Okay. But go ahead and start thinking about what that issue is that you want to explore if you haven't already done that, and then start your research, okay? The ECU Libraries database will be a great place to start, as well as those scholarly and popular sources that you research for Project 1. Those will be great places to reference as you start finding information about this issue in your field that interests you, that you think is important, and that you want to explore further, okay? I'll still be available by email, of course, the rest of the week. I hope you all have a good 4th, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and I will check in with you later.